Hi, this is Paloma Faith. I'm on musu.tv and check out my new album called Fall to Grace. I feel better about my dreaded second album than I did with my first, because I feel like with my first I maybe was trying to keep a lot of people happy because I had so much more to lose, whereas this time I feel more nervous because I feel like I've got something to lose now. I've worked towards something and now it could all go, but also more confident creatively because I've like worked really hard on it and I feel like I've had complete creative control of it, and it would be nice for me, I think, to just prove to like record company that when they do leave me to my own devices, it works better than when they don't. And I'm sort of hoping that the public will help me generate that outcome, because it'd be awful and disheartening to think, you know, that something I compromised a bit on did better than something that was really me. The new album was obviously and inevitably inspired by my own experiences in the last kind of year and a half. But also there's a massive nod to cinema. Working with Nelly Hooper and Jake Gosling, I went to them and sort of said to them, you know, I'm a massive film fanatic, and I had quite a lot of visual, mainly cinematic references for each song, so there's a real sort of film homage there. And I've actually just written a blog which is going up on Monday, which is all about which films influence which songs, going up on my website. Working with Nelly was like an amazing experience because, you know, his sort of back catalogue of work is pretty incredible, and I think that it was definitely a two-way collaboration. Like, he's not one of those producers that sits in a room with giving it the big I am, saying this is what you need to sound like. He genuinely like listened to my ideas and kind of translated them sonically, and I was really grateful for that. I thought it was a great interpretation of my weird and wonderful waffle that I spoke. It feels amazing to be compared to Björk by Nelly, but also quite daunting because it was pretty amazing, and I sort of admire her and hold her in such high regard that I feel a little bit like inadequate, but that's the Britishness in me. I think this is weird, but I really love every song on the album. There are like few sort of that jump into my head when I think, oh, it's kind of a soundtrack to my life. So, you know how in life sometimes you want to dance and then you might listen to Blood, Sweat and Tears because it's got a bit of a disco vibe, and then sometimes you want to sort of sit in your own room and reflect and be like really sort of introverted, and then I'd say Just Be was a standout song for that because it's just piano and vocal and it's really exposed. But I think every song on the album kind of speaks to a different aspect of life. There are positive songs on there, which is rare for an album now. Freedom, which is like a great sort of celebration of life, and the next single after Picking Up the Pieces is going to be 30-Minute Love Affair, which is one of my favourite songs, sonically inspired by the soundtrack to the film Drive, but about a personal experience that happened when I was 14, that I used to sort of want to go to clubs but I was too young. So what I used to do was go out to like Leicester Square with my mates, and go and play like arcade games and stuff. And one night I went out to Leicester Square and met this busker who was singing Tracy Chapman songs, and I thought he was like super amazing, sort of instantly fell in love with him. And all my mates were like, come on, hurry up, we want to go, blah, blah, blah. So I was like, I'll come back and see you another time. I was sort of singing with him a bit. I said, I want to come and see you again, I think you're amazing. And I was so enthusiastic, and he said, I'm here every day and you can come back any day and see me. So I went back the next day and he wasn't there, and then I went back every day 10 days and he was never there again. So that's what that song's about. Yeah, I'm really looking forward to performing the album live. I have a great band that I've been rehearsing with that sort of includes some of the members of my old band with some new, and it's really stepped up a notch because like before we were a little bit restricted financially, so we had to like keep some stuff on stems and things, whereas now everything's live, everything's coming out of something. So every time you hear something, you see something, you know, and it's got bigger, and that's been really important to me to sort of be able to have the versatility to just jam around a song for ages. So I'm looking forward to that in a big way, and I've sort of been designing sets for it and everything, and I like the big reveal, so I won't reveal too much, but it's definitely taken a kind of filmic atmosphere. Oh, I know something. So the song Blood, Sweat and Tears that I've mentioned before, I wrote with a guy called Toby Gadd. And to get to that song, it was pretty weird for me because I first went into the writing session with him and talked about, like, when you go in, you sort of meet someone from scratch. And I talked to him about what I kind of wanted. And in this song, I was like, I want to write a song that would be the kind of thing that Shaka Khan would sing, like a big soul diva disco track. And then he sort of talked to me a bit about himself and his experiences. And he started saying, you know, I wrote this song and this song. And he was like, oh, I wrote this song. And then he played me like some. And I just went, I think this is shit. Right? He asked me what I thought. He goes, what do you think? Because I wasn't saying anything because I was taught not to say anything unless you had anything nice to say. And his face just dropped, right? And then he said, like, we just couldn't write together. We just found it so impossible. We were just really stunted, and I think I'd really offended him. But he did ask me what I thought. And then my manager came. I texted him and said, oh, you need to come pick me up early because it's not working. And I've upset the guy, right? So my manager came to pick me up, and he sort of said, look, guys, try again tomorrow. And if it doesn't work, that's fine. Like, these things happen. Sometimes people don't get on. That's life. We're in this business, like, you know, we've all been in it long enough to know. So we were like, okay. And I was like going to him, I really don't want to go back there. They were so uncomfortable, and we didn't gel, and he's too commercial for me. It's like everything he's done's really cheesy. And then I went back the next day, and he sat on a chair, and he basically said, I don't think you can even put this out because it's got a terrible word in it. He put one leg over the other and he went, I think you're a massive And I was just, you can beat that. And I was just like, I just burst out laughing. And I fell on the floor. And I was like rolling about the floor going, I am. You totally get it. I'm sorry. We both started laughing. And then he goes, what a relief to be able to say that to you and you're laughing. And then we ended up getting on really well because he worked out that I could take it and that it didn't matter that his stuff wasn't to my taste. And then we wrote Blood, Sweat and Tears together, which is one of my favourite songs on the record. And we had such a good time. And he's like since spoken to the papers about how he thought I was horrible at first, but now he just loves it. So it's kind of like amazing.